Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Evan Better Presents. And today is a momentous day, because today is the day we finally turn on our nuclear reactors. I have everything finished! Yes! It is all automated, except for the extraction of the nuclear fuel rods when they become depleted. Everything else in the system, though, does work automatically. You can see here the setup. I had it running a little bit just to test it out before I decided to show this to you guys because I'm tired of episodes where I blow up. And there's been a shit ton of time invested into this creation. So this is, according to the reactor planner, a Mark I SUC EV or EA Plus or something like that. I can't remember what all those little acronyms are. But it's basically a high output, over 1,000 EU a tick, and 100% safe, as long as there's lapis lazuli, which there's a shit ton, 63,000 worth. Now, once I start seeing that getting to around the 20,000 mark, I'm going to have to try and come up with a solution. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. Our quarry seems to mine it out fast enough. So let's turn this bad boy on. It is... The only downside is I have it running off the thermal monitors. There we go. Okay, it's working. Fuzzy import bus takes them out at 25% when they get close to completely depleted. We'll see that happen here just a few seconds. Much like on the test server, it works exactly a similar way. The rest of the components in the reactor are there to provide heat resistance while the plates get swapped out. The condensators get swapped out. Sometimes it takes a couple of seconds. Well, it's a couple of seconds. You don't want the fucking reactor overheating and blowing up your whole base. So you need a buffer zone, which is this device here. So you're going to see here in a second, these two are going to swap out almost simultaneously, which is kind of dangerous, but we'll see what happens there. That's a worst case scenario, so I'm going to just do that. You really don't want to have 2 or 3 of these components popping out at the same time. That's just going to cause you issues. Alright, so this one's about to pop out. We'll watch that happen. There he goes. Boom, brand new one gets put in its place. That one popped out, brand new one gets put in its place. So it is, again, 100% automated as far as cooling is concerned. And then you can see here, I've got 43 LZH condensators sitting in the buffer. Throw that one in there, it should get sucked out. And 44. Throw that one in the buffer, it should get sucked out. Oh, because it's... Yeah, 2 more just went in. There's some kind of strange... number difference here between this one here and, like, say, one of these other ones that are also in perfect condition. I don't understand exactly what the issue is. So at one point I had 2 different sets of LZH condensators in the ME network, which didn't make any sense because they had the exact same number. Like, see, 30083, 30083, that's the craft, obviously, but there was like a second set there that had the same number but were just different for some reason. So just throw that in the system. Boom, 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 crafted out, and now I have 45 LZH condensators. So let's get into the control room. This one's already running. This reactor here is already running. Let's get in the control room and see what we can see here. Alright, so this is a power monitor. It's currently hooked up to the capacitor bank. This just gives me an idea of what kind of power is in that capacitor bank at the moment. So there we go. We can see all that information. Now we can look over here. We've got 5 hours and 20 minutes of remaining time on this particular cycle. Its current heat is 4, which I'm going to change. I'm going to change this because I don't really need to see the melting or the max heat temp. Temperature is 4, and its current output is 1040 EU per tick, and it's in the on status. These switches, unfortunately, don't do anything at the moment. Like I said, the thermal monitors are in charge of the reactor, and that's fine because that's kind of how I want it to be. Once the cycle is out, the reactor should kick over to off automatically because the heat level will rise, or maybe it'll sink. I don't really know what'll happen when the cycle completes. I haven't found that out yet. So that's a mystery for me as well. Let's charge this thing up. But I now have an excessive amount of power, and I'm kind of sad to see this is now completed. So just go look in here. You can see the our big capacitor bank, and let's take a look at this sucker. So we're currently producing 8.3 thousand RF per tick, and that's 2000.1 EU input, right? So those two reactors. I don't have a breeder reactor yet because I don't have any depleted uranium cells. I'll have to build. That'll be our next step, is building a breeder reactor to replenish the uranium cells. Because uranium cells, I mean, yes, so I currently have 659 uranium cells, but that's no good. And I have the system all set up to produce them at 512. When it goes below 512, it'll produce new ones. There's currently no enriched uranium because the system's off, which I think I should change that, because I want the uranium to be in the system. I just don't want it crafting anything in the meantime. Like, these are the auto workbenches that I believe craft the quad cores. Yeah, they are. Those are the two that craft the quad cores. This is the machine that creates enriched uranium, I believe. Enriched uranium nuclear fuel. So I have no uranium-238 in the system at the moment, according to that. Maybe I do. What's that? That's uranium-238. Alright, so this is the machine I gotta switch it out. Take that out. There we are. So there's my enriched uranium fuel. It's currently going through all of the lead, or the tiny piles. Now here is an issue with these cyclic assemblers that I was able to solve. Remember I was having that problem with the lapis lazuli? I was able to solve that problem using a supplier logistics pipe. So down there is an ME. Well, I'll go down there. Because the problem I was having with the cyclic is... Oh, shit, I'm trapped down here now. I can get out. So the problem I was having with these cyclic assemblers is they're the most efficient process, because they're the fastest, at repairing those LZH condensators, okay? The problem I was having was that this thing was filling up, just like you saw over there with that uranium. The whole system just fills up with lapis lazuli, because I've got 64,000 of it. Now you can see the system actually, this machine actually working. I got 64,000 of this stuff, so it was quickly filling up with it, and it was filling up too much of it. And I didn't need that. So how did I solve that problem? Well, using logistics pipes, which I have experience with from TechIt. They have a really nice ability to interface with the ME network, which I wasn't aware of until I did a little bit of research on the test server. Excuse me. So a supplier logistics pipe, where's my wrench? I gotta use my wrench to access that. Supplier logistics pipe has this really great ability to, you use it to dictate what you want to keep in the system. So I just set it up to keep stocked 64 lapis lazuli. It now is keeping 64 lapis lazuli stocked in the cyclic assembler at all times. All right? And the provider pipe hooked into the ME interface allows the provider pipe to have access to the entire ME network. And this is just off to the logistics power junction. These things, it requires, the biggest downside of these logistics pipes is they require to all be interfaced at all times. So they all have to be connected to a power source, which in this case is this item here. And it will use power every time it pumps through. See that? It's using some power. Every time it pumps through something, it'll use power. Now the cyclic assembler also uses power, 20, I believe it's 20 EU per tick. Yeah, 20 RF per tick. There you can see it's using its 20 every time it has to process this. And then the logistics system also uses some RF to do that process as well. We're well within our power constraints here, so I'm not concerned. But we need to get out of this tunnel, so let's go. You can see here I also replaced, I don't know if I showed you guys this before, but I replaced the, I don't know if I've shown you this. Yeah, I replaced the main power line up to this point here with the high-end Ender energy conduit all the way along. The main purpose of this was, you can see I've replaced the gold cable with high voltage cable. I don't know if I showed you guys this or not. I apologize if this is just a repeat. But the main reason I did this is I wanted to provide the ME network with a backup power source. Now, I'm not really sure where that leads. I'm going to have to figure that one out because I'm not sure where that one is going to. But I wanted to provide the ME network with a backup power because in the event that, for whatever reason, a reactor explodes and wipes out half the base or something like that, the ME network, where all of my material is stored, will not be accessible to me. So I moved the resonant energy cells from the power plant into the applied energistics room, and it now is the backup power source of the applied energistics room, where it goes up. This goes to the resonant energy cells, and this goes up to the ME network, and there's a couple of battery backups or energy backups on that, because the battery backups that come with the extra cells doesn't work. So you can see here it just branches off, goes up to those resonant energy cells, and then replenishes them, and then comes back into the AE network. We'll see that right now as I go upstairs, which I should have just done over here. I'm sorry. Oh, I also doubled the drives. I got to say the ME network makes that very easy when you just type in 64K and it basically can craft 10 of those things in no time flat. So, yeah, you can see here I've got this bank. I built a few more resonant energy cells for the main powerhouse, and then I was like, you know what? I don't want those in there. I want to use a capacitor bank, because capacitor bank I can output higher levels of power. So I figured I might as well give it the AE network a backup, and I guess this whole building is now running off of this, which I guess that's not a problem. Now, from what I understand, yep, there it is right there. So that line goes here and into the Tesseract, and then the other power goes over these machines here. Here's the extra alloy smelters I had to make because, Jesus Christ, I got to say, it wasn't cheap to do these things. This is a painting machine that I thought I was going to use to make a conduit cover. I never ended up doing it. I don't know how it works exactly. I got to figure that out. But yeah, you can see here it's just it acts like a separator for the room as well because it's kind of bulky. Huh. But what does that power line go to? It branches off here, off the main building. It must be going to these two, because these two are the only ones that require any power. Alright, anyway, as long as I don't have any uranium on me, I should be okay. So I've got to set up this cyclic assembler to operate the same way as this one does, because I need to have it only come on and only keep X amount of these uranium-238s in the system so that it has room for the other stuff. Like, I can basically set it up exactly the same way. If I just put a logistics supplier pipe in place of one of these items even, or two of them, it'll keep the... Yeah, I can set it up so that it ME interfaces. I don't even need these two. I can just have one of them. I can set it up so that it is connected to the ME interface. I'll tell the supplier pipe to only keep 64 and 64 of it in this device, and the rest of it will sit in the system. And when there isn't any, it won't fill this up. So it'll be 64, 64, boom. When there's nothing around, it won't fill up the rest of this bar and become useless like it is right now. So that's what we'll do. I'll do with that that item next. But let me just put my power armor back on, and we'll go look at the powerhouse, because I changed that and I expanded it out. Oh, so good to run fast. I love that. You can see here I have expanded it out so that it is asymmetric. Whoops, there's one little spot I gotta fix. It was asymmetric, now it is symmetric. As you can see here. If you remember correctly, it cut off like right on that line there. Well, I needed the extra space, so I decided to expand this place out. I hate it when that happens. I don't know why that happens, but it does. So you can see our reactor. It's currently putting out 1064. These guys here might be running on 0 at the point. Yeah, it is. I gotta redo this because I'm putting out too much power from certain sources, and I'm not utilizing other sources. I could restrict the power coming out. Ooh, why isn't this connected? Oh shit! I need a Yeta wrench. That was bizarre. But I'm currently producing between this big reactor, which I'm going to cut down its power output even further. Yeah, these should all be on 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. Okay. This steam generator, which is running off creosote, and this one, which is running off the infinite lava lakes, I'm producing more than enough power. What I've got to focus on now is increasing my EU network. As you can see here, I have added a few more MFSUs. They're all full. These things are a pain in the ass to make. I'll make 1,000 resonant energy cells again before I make another one of these things. These things are fucking insane. Look at what it takes to make this thing. Make one MFSU. It's a pain in the sack. MFSU. 6 Lapitron crystals. An advanced machine casing. That's not a problem. An MFFE. That's not a problem. Advanced circuit. That's not a problem. Lapitron crystals are retarded. Okay? 2 advanced processors or circuits. Lapis lazuli dust. Energy crystals, which take engerium dust in a compressor, which you can see here is diamonds in a grinder. It's fucking madness. It's madness. So, each one of these things represents like a serious investment. I'm running everything off of the MFSU at the moment to with 2048 power coming out. It just keeps the system a little more stable, and because the system doesn't have that stupid problem where it'll explode, everything will explode because if you don't have the right upgrades in it, and it never will be a problem because I'm using build 397, and you'll never go beyond that because the newer builds are for Minecraft 174, and I'm using Minecraft or 171 or whatever it is, and I'm using Minecraft 164. So it'll never happen. That'll never be a problem. I am producing enough steam at the moment that I thought about building something right here. Excuse me, replacing these ones, getting these things out of here completely. I figured I built this beautiful animated system. I might as well keep this beautiful animated system. This is just a goddamn cheat of power. And it produces, each one of these produces the same as 4 of these. 4, 8, 16. No, that's not right. Two of these. So each one of these produces the power of 2 of these. So these 4 are the equivalent of these 8. So it's kind of a cheap ripoff. I like the steam pumps. They're cool, and I've built a lot of investment around them, like this goddamn thing. So anyway, what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about, if I can, I'm going to rip these suckers out, and I'm going to put right here in this space one of these guys. I think it's called a turbine. think it's called a turbine. Yeah, steam turbine, multi-block. This is the thing here. And I have the materials to build this. It's just blocks of steel and shit. And some steel plates. I can build this thing pretty easily. And what this is a component that goes hand in hand with Railcraft to generate EU. So since my EU production consists of this one high voltage solar array and these geothermal generators, these 12 geothermal generators, that's not really a lot of power. I mean, this thing puts out 512. These are putting out 300. I've got almost 1,000 EU. But honestly, that's not enough. It's not enough power. So I was thinking, cut these out, replace that with that. But before I do that, I want to build something to hold the excess steam. So basically, oh, there's another thing. I want to find out where this line is going now, because I think it doesn't do anything any longer. As far as it goes down there. So let's go downstairs. So anyway, what I was going to say is, the steam I'm producing is being wasted. Let's just take a quick look at how much creosote oil I have at the moment. I think we're getting low. Holy fuck, we are getting low. So the creosote oil is going to be running out very soon, which sucks. Because then the small liquid-fired sucker is going to shut off. I'm just going to shut it off basically permanently. Until the creosote builds up again. Because creosote's not a refined source of anything. So, we have this liquid-fueled bastard. I'm going to upgrade it to be the same size as this guy here. I'm going to upgrade it. And I've got to find a new source of fuel for it. Also, the steam is, like I said, being kind of wasted because it's producing more steam than it's using. You can see here. I'm producing considerably more steam. I have this set up here so that it's providing extra steam to these at the moment. Each one of these putting out to 8 megajoules. So, I'm going to go to one of my Mistcraft worlds, find oil, create an oil refinery. That's the new thing we're going to be putting down on our checklist. Let's find out where this pipe actually goes now, because it should be going to nothing. I think, at least. So that's the one line. They just join up. Okay, so they just join up. So this... What the hell's the point of that? There's no point to that. That doesn't do anything. Now this should go into the holding tank, I believe. Yeah, it goes straight up to the holding tank. Okay. And then this water line goes to the... This water line goes over to the ore washer, which is this here. Yeah. And this power line should be coming from the back of the powerhouse right here. Yep. Okay. And then it just goes down here and connects to these guys here, which are on the regular cable because they're not using as much power. Alright, so that lava line doesn't serve any purpose. But what I need to install is a steam holding tank. And I'm going to build it... God, it's a fucking absolute disgrace of wires down here now. Now this is the ME line that goes down to the nuclear reactors. Let's just do a quick check on the LZH condensators. Perfect. 45 buffer, that means it's working. Oh, I'm sticking trapped in here. Alright, there's no ladder anywhere in this part of the place. So, I want to build a steam tank to hold all this steam that I'm producing. Then I can use pressurized Ender I/O lines to do something with that. The problem is, where the hell can I put new tanks? I'm kind of out of space for placing any more tanks right there. And I don't want to... I kind of like the symmetry I've got going on, so I kind of want to keep things the same look. The one idea I came up with is putting the steam tanks here behind this housing here. I can also put our fuel tank here as well. So what I would actually do is I would move the creosote... Don't know what I would do. Anyway, I put a fuel tank here and a oil tank, a fuel tank, and a steam storage tank right here. I can fit 3 tanks here pretty easily. I'm just judging by a general look of how I've got those ones. I can put 3 tanks right there. So I think that's what I'll do with that. And then I can, like I said, I'm going to go to one of my Mistcraft worlds, take a Tesseract, and start refining fuel for that liquid steam boiler. So at the current moment, it's not really doing anything, which is kind of a waste. How you make it? Ooh, almost done another batch of steel. This setup is actually just currently running to give me creosote oil. I don't need the steel. I don't even know why I'm making the steel. The steel has very limited uses, except for making a few things that I plan to make. Let's go into our storage house. I broke my system, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong because I was crafting stuff and nothing was being made. And what happened was I had these ME storage buses on the wrong face of these deep storage units. So you can see here the deep storage unit is still adding up. Holy shit, I've got 71,000 rubber now. My automated system is working goddamn brilliantly. So I need to add a few more deep storage units in here, and I was thinking maybe I could even just use these barrels, but the default barrels don't hold enough. They hold stacks of 64 by 64, right? 64 by 64. That's only 4,096 items. That's not enough. That's not enough at all. This holds 2 billion. One of these holds 2 billion items. Now, you might be saying, why do I even need to worry about that when I have a full 2 sets of disks back in the AE building? I just don't... It just seems like a waste of space on a disk to keep something that's that big. Like, I'm going to take everything that's in this first row is going to have its own deep storage unit. That's my thought. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Everything in the first row is going to have its own deep storage unit. Then I don't have to worry about limiting filters or anything like that. I can just open the brick up, or I can open the stone up again, the cobblestone. Yeah, there's a cobblestone. There's 103,000 stone in there, plus 64. So I mean, these are absolutely genius devices for large amounts of items. Oh, remember, on a closing note, you remember I was saying I was having a hard time with this because every once in a while there'd be a sapling that would fall down, and what was happening was that I was getting less returns. Well, I built this, an advanced item collector. And I set the advanced item collector, as you'll see right here. Oh, actually, I didn't filter it because it's just doing it on its own. I don't even know how to work this filter thing. But the advanced item collector collects any items within, as you can see here, a 10 by 10 radius. So any trees, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a couple of trees that fell to the ground there. As soon as the tree limb falls, the item collector picks it up, as soon as the sapling falls, let's just get away from that noise. I'll talk over here. The item collector picks it up, puts it in that chest, and the chest is connected to the AE network, which then automatically plants or pushes it back into the planter. At the same time, this is all fully automated still. And as you can see here, this thing is just running non-stop now. As soon as it has some saplings, it plants the saplings. As you can see here, it's just popping. See, there it goes. Pops some more in. Pops it in. Pops it in. So as soon as it has saplings, it plants more saplings. I think the buffer is pretty full. So is there anything about... Yeah, look, I've got 223 rubber tree saplings in the system now. I mean, eventually that's going to be a problem for storage if it just keeps going forever. I guess. I don't need those, I don't need that. Whoa, hello. But yeah, so this is absolutely beautifully automated. This is absolutely beautifully automated. I do want to do this next, the farm. So guys, I'm going to call it there. We finally got our nuclear... See, that one sapling's too far, but I don't care. We got our nuclear reactors up and running. The checklist pretty much is completed again. Yep. Everything here is done. Except for 4 MFSUs. Fuck 4. I'm sticking with 3. Everything here is done. So next episode, we're going to have to redo our checklist because we're running out of tasks again. I'm going through this game too quickly. Now that everything's so easily done and automated and advanced, it's just everything's getting done too quickly. But we'll have to figure out what to do next. It will be more automation, like the farm's going to be a task, and there'll be some other stuff. But we'll see about that next episode. All right, guys, so thanks very much for watching. Leave those likes, and I will see you in the next episode of Evan Better Presents.